So what happens when a really human-centered teaching philosophy meets the world of artificial intelligence? I know, it sounds like a totally unlikely pair, right? But this partnership might just be the key to unlocking a more equitable and, honestly, a more empowering classroom. Let's dive in and see how it works. It all kicks off with this one really powerful question. We usually think of tech in terms of efficiency or data, but what if its real power in education is something more, well, more human? What if it could actually help us see, value, and amplify the unique strengths every single student brings with them? Okay, so to really get how AI fits into this picture, we first need to get grounded in a philosophy called asset-driven teaching. And we're not talking about some shiny new app or piece of software here. This is a fundamental shift in how we see students and what they bring to their own learning. So what does that actually mean in the classroom? Well, it means you're flipping the script. Instead of starting with, okay, what does this student lack, or what problems do we need to fix, the teacher starts from a place of strength. They ask, what incredible assets, experiences, and knowledge does this student already have? It's all about building on what's there, not just trying to fill in what's missing. Now, this whole philosophy is built on 6 core beliefs. Think of them like the pillars holding the whole thing up: asset-based thinking, student efficacy, high expectations, challenge, social context, and belonging. And they don't just sit there by themselves. They work together as a system, creating this powerful accelerator for student engagement, because it makes learning so personal and so empowering. At the end of the day, the goal here is just deeply human. It's about creating a space where every student can look around and feel, I belong here. My story matters. I can do this. It's a beautiful goal, right? And this is where, believe it or not, technology comes into the picture. Okay, and I know this is probably the point where you might be thinking, wait a minute, AI? How can a non-human intelligence possibly fit into a model that's all about being human-centered? And that's the key. We have to frame AI not as a replacement for anyone, but as a potential partner, a tool that has to be guided by a really strong ethical framework. Look, for AI to be a real partner in the classroom, it's got to play by our rules. This ethical framework is basically its code of conduct. It makes sure AI honors student work through citation, that it upholds integrity, and that it always, always centers the student's own values. But the number one rule, it must be used to highlight what students can do, never to replace them. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. This isn't about an AI writing an essay for a student. No way. Think about it like this. Picture an AI that analyzes a student's draft and says, hey, the way you connected your family's history to this historical event, that's a unique and really powerful argument. Let's explore that more. See? The focus shifts from just fixing mistakes to actively amplifying the student's own assets. All right, so we've got this really human-centered way of teaching on one side, and we've got these ethical rules for AI on the other. Now let's build a bridge between them. Let's see how these two ideas don't just exist next to each other, they actually supercharge one another. And this is where it all clicks together. It's fascinating. Just look at how directly these ideas connect. When an AI practice demands citation and disclosure, that's not just about avoiding plagiarism. It's treating the student's unique voice as a valuable asset. Boom. That's asset-based thinking. When AI is intentionally used to highlight strengths, that directly builds a student's belief in their own abilities. That's their efficacy. And when you make sure ethical practices center student identities, you are actively building a sense of belonging. Every single AI rule directly powers one of the pillars of that student engagement accelerator. So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. When you guide it with strong ethics, AI isn't a threat to the human-centered classroom. It becomes its accelerator. It helps us do this asset-focused work at scale, making it possible for every student to feel seen. And that's not happening in spite of the tech. It's happening because we're using it the right way. So why does all this matter? Like right now? Because this partnership, this connection, it points the way toward a truly future-ready classroom. We're talking about a classroom that prepares students for a world totally shaped by technology, but without ever losing sight of what makes us human. When you boil it all down, this whole partnership, it's all about one thing, just one, and that is to empower the individual student. It's about using the best of human-centered teaching and combining it with ethical technology to unlock the incredible, unique potential inside every single person. And that really leaves us with one big question we have to keep in our minds as we move forward. As we keep building these powerful tools and bringing them into our schools, we have to keep asking ourselves this.
Because at the end of the day, what's the point of all this amazing tech if it doesn't ultimately help us celebrate our shared humanity?